Hi, welcome back on our Thursday broadcast. I'm Tom Laskowski with Midwest Native Skills, and we're here on our every other Thursday live streaming with today's topic of stoves. Which one is the right one for you? Welcome to any new people that are joining us. Just want to let you know we're located here in Northeast Ohio, and we're a outdoor wilderness survival school. I like to say we're non-military. We love our military, but we teach the way that the pioneers and Native Americans taught survival, using only what nature provides. So we're coming up this weekend. We're having our homesteading classes. If you live within 100 miles of the Cleveland, Ohio area, and you're interested in canning or wine making, cheese making, soap making, there's still time to sign up. Go to our website at survivalschool.com and you can sign up for it. Like I mentioned this evening, we're going to be talking about stoves. And I'd like, if you're out there, some kind of interaction, because it's more fun for me, and we can answer some of your questions about stoves and cooking in the outdoors. A lot of times, in fact, I just got off the phone with a real good friend of mine up in Maine, and he asked what the topic was for tonight. And I said, we're going to be talking about stoves. And Ray said, oh, I know the best kind of stove there is. He goes, you just make it right on the ground. And I knew that would be Ray's answer, and he's right. All you have to do is make a fire on the ground and you could have your cooking. And a lot of people always ask me, well, you're the primitive skills guy. Why are you talking about stoves you're going to have to carry in the woods? Well, the best way I can answer that is with a quick analogy. And the analogy is, I know how to make a pizza. I know how to make pizza dough and have it rise for 2 hours. I know how to make mozzarella cheese and separate the curds from the whey and do all that. And I can do all that and make a pizza from scratch. But once in a while, I like to pick up the phone and call Angie's Pizza and just order a double cheese pepperoni pizza and have it delivered. So, stoves are the same way. I like making a campfire, cooking over a campfire, making that fire either with a flint and steel or even with a bow drill once in a while. But once in a while, I like to have a quick cup of coffee, or I just want to camp out and just relax and have things a little easier. So I'll take a stove with me. So that's what we're going to be talking about, the stoves that you're going to be taking with you. So if you have a favorite type of stove that you like to take, I'd like to know what that is. And if you say, okay, I have a Primus or this or that, let me know why you like it and what the benefits that you see of having the stove are. And I'd like you to see who's out there. I'd like to know who I'm talking to. So if you're out there, just drop us a quick note and so we can give a shout out to you and say hi.
Frankie's out there.
Frankie, thanks for joining me.
Adam?
Adam's out there? Well, Frankie and Adam. I know Frankie, he's probably just going to make a fire on the ground the old-fashioned way. And Adam, I know he'll do a bow drill to make his fire. So, but thanks for joining me. And if you have any questions about the stoves, please type it in. Okay, what we're doing today, I want to start out with just a basic premise to give an overview on what type of stove you might want to look at. And I'd like to ask what your purpose is. If you think you're going to want this in a bug-out bag, or you think you're going to want to, shit hits the fan and want to get out of Dodge, and you're not sure how long you're going to be on your own going somewhere, you don't know where, you don't know what the conditions are, in that situation, you want to have the least amount of dependencies. You want to be on your own. You don't want to be dependent on anyone or anything. In that case, you probably don't even want to make a big campfire to be cooking your meals, because that's going to give your position away. So taking a stove might be a good thing to do. In that case, you're going to want to pay attention to the stoves I'm going to be going over late toward the end of the section. They're called wood gasification stoves. Those use no fuel you have to carry with you. They use just a handful of twigs you pick up in the woods, and they have a system that they reburn the smoke and the gases that the wood burns, so it kind of reburns the wood twice, and it burns it down to fly ash. So a handful of sticks can cook your entire dinner. Very little smoke, extremely efficient. So again, the benefit of that, the stove might be a little bigger in size, but you eliminate carrying any kind of fuel, and you can go for years carrying that stove because you're always going to find twigs and sticks. If you're going backpacking and you're going to want an extremely light stove, you're going to want something maybe made out of titanium. You're only going to go for a weekend. You might think of an alcohol stove. If you're only going to be boiling water and using mountain house foods where you just have to add a cup of water, leave it set for 12 minutes and eat your dinner, boiling water. Alcohol stove might be great if you want to go light, titanium, and you'll have to take fuel with you, and that'll be alcohol. But take 1 or 2 containers of alcohol and you're set. If you want something else, then you're going to want to take some white gas with you. Or they do make stoves that work off unleaded gasoline. I know on my motorcycle, I bought a stove that just uses, it could use either white gas or Coleman fuel or unleaded gasoline. So I fixed up my motorcycle fuel tank where I had an extra hose coming down, and I could just open that valve and fill up my cooking stove with unleaded gas from my motorcycle gasoline, and I had a ready supply of fuel for my cooking stove. So it's what you want. So let's go here. I have a few, more than a few stoves here. The first one I just want to show you kind of as a nostalgic one. This is a Borde, B-O-R-D-E. It's a German-made stove back in the 50s. It's kind of a rare stove. It was one of the very first white gas or Coleman type stoves. It got the nickname the Bormann Bomb. What it is, you put fuel in the bottom here, you would light it. To adjust the flame, you would just turn this on the top here for a high flame or a low flame. That was the only adjustment. And you'd pour some fuel on these coil here. They would heat up, pressurize this cylinder, and force the fuel to burn on the top here. The only drawback of this, back in the 50s, they weren't that concerned about safety. There's no safety valve on this, where it got its name, the Bormann Bomb. Because if this built up too much pressure, the only place that it could relieve the pressure was through this valve. And if this valve got plugged, it would build up pressure here, and I guess at times there was pretty catastrophic consequences to that. But this is one of the very first stoves, and just wanted to bring it out. We're not going to use the Bormann Bomb. This is another old-fashioned one that people use today. It's still available. It's an Optimus, and I kind of like this. It's kind of a cool-looking stove. It just opens up here. It comes out, and it's got its fuel container right here. And there is your burner. And the key goes right in the side here. Now you're going to be having to carry Coleman fuel with you with this stove. But again, put your Coleman fuel in. I take this on my motorcycle quite often. You fill this one up, put your pot right on the stove stand here. And what's nice, it's adjustable. Whenever you're talking about a cooking stove, unless you're just taking mountain house where you want your water to just simply boil, you're going to want some adjustment on there. If you're simmering rice, simmering things, you're going to want some adjustment. That's one downside when we talk alcohol stoves. Alcohol stove is on, and it's on high. There's no simmering involved. With this, you can simmer down, and you get about, I would say, I can get a good 3, maybe 4 meals out of a tank of this, and I usually just carry fuel with me on this. What's nice about this, once you're done, you can blow out the flame, put this in, fold this back in, fold it up, and it all folds up real nice and neat.
Adam would like to know if that case is waterproof.
It's water resistant, Adam. The seal here, there's no seals, there's no rubber around here. If I leave this out like this and there's a light rain on it, it'll be fine. If I submerge this water will get in because this keyhole's open and all this is open here. The nice thing though, there's really, except this air hole here, this can get wet and there's nothing really going to hurt it. Now, if you're going to get water in the burner, you're going to have to let it dry out before you try lighting it, but there's nothing really that water is going to hurt. So this kind of looks old-fashioned, and those of you that know me, I like kind of antique-looking things. So this kind of looks cool, kind of neat. So I just like it for its looks, and it functions fantastic. Weight-wise, if I'm hiking the Appalachian Trail, this isn't what I'm taking. It's not heavy, but it's there are lighter ones I would take. If I'm hiking just with some of you guys, we're going on a short trip, I definitely take this. Car camping, motorcycle camping is going with me. Real quick, this is called GoSun. Just want to show it to you quick. This is a solar oven. It works fantastic. Put this out in the sun, point it at the sun, and these mirrors focus the sun on this tube in here. It's basically a thermos in a glass case, and within an hour you have your meal hot and ready to eat. Now, in here there's a tray you take out, and in this long tray you'd have to put like rice, things like that, or you can put hot dogs in there. You can put easily 2 hot dogs, maybe you can fit 3 in. So you're not going to have gourmet meals. You could take a steak and chop it up just so it fits in a tray that fits in this tube. So it would be those kind of meals. It's fun to use, it's great to use. I would not take it as my main source of cooking on a trip. I usually use it here at home. I usually use it at a base camp. If we're going for family camping, it's more or less a novelty, but they work great. Like I said, if something happens and shit hits the fan and we're stranded here at home without natural gas to cook with, and we want hot dogs for lunch and it's sunny out, I'd probably pull this out.
How long would it take?
About an hour. About an hour in full sunlight, and that's in the summertime. If the sun's lower, you might take an hour and a half, but it doesn't take that long. I also bought a wireless meat thermometer that you can stick in there, and then it would read the temperature when I'm not there. So if I'm cooking chicken, I wait for the temperature to get up to 160, have my readout, and I know the chicken's done. So there's a lot of tricks, there's a cookbook and everything. So again, it's a novelty, it works fantastic, but you're going to need sun. So if you're hiking the Appalachian Trail and you have this as your main source of cooking and it's cloudy out, you're going to go hungry. A lot of you probably have heard or saw the jet boil. Jet boils work really nice. I like everything stores in the jet boil. But I'll show you why the jet boil works so good. Fuel container. Again, so this simply screws on like this. This ring opens up as your pot stand. It's pretty quick how quick it all sets up. Okay, this is all your eating utensils that you want to take off before you put it on there. Now, the reason this jet boil works so good is not because of any of this that you're seeing. It's because of what's on the bottom here. Get a good picture of that, Cheryl?
Give me a second.
You see those fins on the bottom? That's a heat exchanger. So what this system actually does to make it so efficient, it's taking the heat from this burner, and rather than the heat coming all around the pot and going into the atmosphere, it's transferring it to this heat exchanger, which is connected to the bottom of the cup here. So all the heat that this is producing is going right into your your pot here. So when you do that, you can put a pot on, or they have it so it actually locks in like this. So it's right on there, tight, right over the flame. So all the heat goes right into the bottom of this pot. That's why this will boil a cup of water in about a minute and a half or less. So if you're going on the Appalachian Trail, it's relatively lightweight, and if you're only taking Mountain House food, which only needs boiling water to reconstitute, this would be perfect. You could be eating in under 3 minutes.
Adam loves his.
Great system. You're not going to be simmering things, and you're going to have a wide range of meals, but you're going to be limited to your Mountain House food. So jet boil is great if you want a cup of coffee, cup of tea, fantastic. Stick with Mountain House food, fantastic. Only downside of this, and you probably know it, what's the downside? What's the downside? Nobody? Come on. Trying to get some interaction here. Frank, what's the downside?
Fuel.
Fuel. You got to carry your fuel with you. No big deal. Now, since you can boil water quickly, you can use fuel. Out of this, you can get probably about 9 or 10 boilings of water out of this. So you can figure out that's probably 3 days of boiling enough water for a meal, plus or minus. So you can figure out how many extra containers you need to take with you and figure it out that way. But you do have to carry fuel, and once you run out of fuel, you're dead in the water. So you can use this without that cup to heat another pot, but if it doesn't have that heat exchanger on the bottom, it's going to be just as efficient as any of your other stoves and take 4, 5, 6 minutes to boil water. It's that heat exchanger on the bottom that makes the jet boil system efficient.
Bill Qualls,
Hi, Bill.
he's got, put a comment. I use the jet boil on my hike, the High Sierra Trail and the John Muir Trail. Never so much as a hiccup.
Yeah, they work fantastic. Bill, did you ever keep track of how many boils you get out of a canister? Now, that blue canister was the smaller canister. They make a red one that's larger in size. The red one doesn't fit inside the cup though. So you can get a bigger canister, but you're going to have to keep it separate. But did you ever do any calculations, Bill? If you do, write into us. Because it's kind of good to know that. I'll go on while if Bill responds to us. Here's kind of a cool stove before I go on to some of the others. This is called a BioLite Stove. Now this is strictly a wood stove. Now this doesn't use any fuel, so you're going to have to rely on getting twigs, making a fire in here just like you would a normal stove. But this has a battery pack on it. So this stove, you're going to cook normally. You're going to put your pot right on top here, and you're going to have to keep the fire going just like you would a normal stove. But it takes some of the heat from your fire and recharges this battery pack here. So if you have a camera, if you have a cell phone, if you have a little battery pack with rechargeable batteries, you can take your USB cord that comes with it, plug it in here, and recharge your batteries, or recharge your phone, or recharge your whatever. So that's kind of a neat system. Now, you can charge this battery before you go, so this is your backup battery, and anytime you have a fire in here, it will recharge this battery or keep it topped off. I will tell you, I've used this quite a bit. You have to have a pretty hot fire going in here. If it's just a medium fire, it won't charge this battery. So you have to keep this fire cranked pretty well. So, great concept. Great, it's a good design, it works. you have to have a pretty hot fire going, so you almost have to make a fire in there for the purpose of charging your battery and keep that fire going. So it's not like you're going to make a leisurely dinner and have a fully charged phone. You're going to have to really focus on keeping that fire really hot. So it does work, but not quite as good as you think as you'd like it to work. So this is called, again, BioLite. Works to recharge batteries.
I do have some information from Bill.
Bill, what you got?
So he used the larger canister and it lasted the entire 21 days. That was hot water only, every morning and night. No fires were allowed back then. So use the jet boil exclusively for hot water.
That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive for 21 days. Bill, you got more guts than me. I'd have a backup canister because I don't know. But I eat a lot, that's for sure. But okay, 21 days on the larger red canister, 2 meals, just heating hot water. That's impressive. Okay, last one of these kind of fancier ones. I kind of really like this. Again, we're talking fuel again, but I like to store everything in my pots because you have to carry pots with you, right? Well, everything's in my pot here, so here's my pots. I do have to carry my stove with me. Here's my stove. This is I keep forgetting the name of this, Olicamp. It's an ion micro stove. This is really cool. This is what slick is. This is the stove. That's it. It's adjustable. You can simmer, pot stand, everything's on it. So all you do have to carry these. That's it. And so, like I said, it simmers, it does everything. They do make a version with a piezoelectric ignition system on it. It is a little bigger than this. I just carry I always have a lighter with me. I always have a sparking device with me. And for the size difference, I just go with this little stove. And then, like I said, everything can fit in my container here. Or, well, kind of goes in right in here. Here, fry pan. And this can go right in your package. There's still a lot of room in here. I can put a few extra things in here, but your whole cook kit fits here. So that, oh, by the way, if you're looking for these, you can get them in a lot of places, but the best place to get them is survivalschool.com's school store. That's my little advertisement for this.
Okay, so Adam says just to make sure that you're on flat ground, don't want to lose anything while you're cooking on it.
Yep. That's a good point.
Yeah, Cody and Jim Steen are on with us.
Okay, Cody and Jim, thanks for joining us. If you just joined us, we just talked about some of the fancier stoves. We're going to go down now to the more basic ones. Alcohol stoves. We can talk about those pretty quick. Couple different designs. You probably know that you can make alcohol stoves out of pop cans. We do these in our Survival 1 classes as projects. There's a few different kinds I'd like you to just kind of look at. This is called the Decagon. Now these are all made by Vargo. We carry them on our website. I like this one. This is called the Decagon. What I like about this, it's got this large ring, so it makes it very stable. You put your alcohol in here. The holes are here, and there's little dimples up here that your pot actually sit on. So it has a pot stand built in. So this is the entire stove. One trick, when you're using alcohol, you need to use either alcohol you get from a hardware store, which is extremely overpriced. and so you really don't want to go there. Or just go to Walmart or Menards or someplace or an auto parts store and get this gas line heat in the yellow bottle. And this is all you need. And you fill the stove up, put a little on the inside, but you have to put the alcohol on the outside of the stove because you have to heat up the entire metal to vaporize it. So the whole thing's going to light up, and what we're looking for, they call it blooming, B-L-O-O-M-I-N-G, where the flames are going to come out and kind of shoot out those holes around there. We should get some flames out of the center because it's open. However, when we put our pot on, those flames will go away and that bloom will be just like a gas burner on a stove. So with some luck, that will bloom. I can see some of the, I don't know if we can turn off a few lights here so you can see that. It's trying, it's starting to. This is the fun of doing things live. My backside's starting to bloom here. Now the fun part is if I pour more alcohol. Alcohol has to vaporize. It takes usually, it's starting. Alcohol takes about a minute, and these alcohol stoves don't work great in cold weather. So those are some downsides. They work great in the summertime. And another downside is when they're burning, they usually have to burn out of fuel. There's no way to throttle them. When they're on. Okay, it's almost all the way on. So you put a pot on. This is going to cause more. There it goes. And you might be able to see the flame's going to start shooting out from, I don't know if you can see that or not.
You can.
Huh?
They can.
But you can see, the flames are on all the way around, they're just like a burner. So, that's one type of alcohol stove. The Decagon.
So Bill says alcohol stoves are not allowed on some trails. For example, the Colorado Trail. They're considered a fire hazard and much more dangerous than propane. Frankly, I've never understood why, though.
I've used them, Bill, and the reason is more than once I've knocked them over, I spilled them, alcohol gets all over, it's a fiasco, believe me. This is just another type.
Wendy would like to know if alcohol burns as hot as the gas.
Well, it's a blue flame, Wendy. I don't have the exact numbers. I should find that out. The gas, and I'm guessing here. I'll have to find out and get back to you and post it, Wendy. The gas is burning with pressure, so it appears to me that you're getting more BTUs out of the gas. The alcohol is just burning without as much pressure. It doesn't seem like there's enough heat. Bill, if you have a better answer than that or someone else out there, please chime in. That's my best guess, but I'm going to have to do some research on that.
Angela and Patty are on.
Angela and Patty? Mm-hmm. Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're just talking about alcohol stoves. This, again, you have a top here with the holes in it. You put the alcohol in here, and this is just this is the pot stand, and this is to keep it off the ground, give you some stability. Put that in there, light it, and you have your alcohol stove. This is a variation, and this is kind of cool. It folds down all like this, but kind of like a spaceship. You fold out the bottom and the top, and you fold out its landing gears and its top gear, like that. And alcohol goes in here, lights here, it blooms, and There's your pot. Also, a downside of alcohol stoves, they're very finicky with the wind. So you need some type of wind shield around there. That could just be aluminum foil. They make wind shields you can carry with you, but the slightest breeze will take that heat from the alcohol and blow it all around, and it'll make these significantly less efficient.
Bill also says the benefit of an alcohol stove is they're very quiet. Gas stoves are very noisy.
Yes. Yes. And you carry alcohol in these containers, and so there are marks so you know exactly how much to put in. And you'll get to know, okay, it takes me 1 1/4 ounces to boil 12 ounces of water for my tea. So you only put in the exact amount you use. Let's go into this. Now again, this is all in my cup here. This is for those that want to go super lightweight. This is a titanium version of the alcohol stoves. I said a downside of an alcohol stove is you have to burn them till they're totally empty and you can't simmer. This design takes both of those negatives out of it. This is a cover that comes on it. So this is actually full of fuel. There's the range. You would light this. When you want to put it out, you just put the cover on. And it extinguishes it. Now, if I want to simmer rice, this is called a simmer ring. So I put this on here, and with this top, I can close it down. That'd be a full blast. I want to boil. This would be part simmer. This would be a very small simmer. So with this simmer ring on, I can adjust how much heat I'm getting on my pot. So this design is a lot nicer to use with alcohol stoves. Again, it's made of brass, so there's a little bit of weight to it. If you're saying, okay, I'm hiking the Appalachian Trail, this is cool, and this all fits real nice inside here, so you can have it. They make a titanium version, so these weigh nothing. You can put this in like this.
What's that cost roughly?
Who asked that question?
Adam.
Adam, Cheryl's here, so why did you ask that question with Cheryl here? This right here, you're talking $109 for the titanium. You can buy this separate. It's probably $69, and the titanium version of this is the rest of the price. So you're talking 40 some bucks for this and 60 some bucks for this. Titanium is expensive. So this in cold weather, you get uneven heat. So this is called a heat plate. So if you're doing this in the middle of winter, you put this on here, that alcohol stove will heat that heat plate and you'll get even heat, and your pot goes on top there like that. Again, this is maybe 1.25 ounces, if that. This weighs, literally, it weighs nothing. So this is 1/100 of it. Very expensive, very light.
Bill says the brass version is less than $20.
Yes, yes. I'm thinking, is that the Triangia? I believe the name is?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have them on my website. We have them in stock. I just have a lot in stock and can't think of names right off the top of my head. Okay, let's go into just wood burning. You can just make a fire on the ground, but sometimes you want it more contained. Here's a stove, nice and flat. Vargo makes this. This all comes together in slots, so it's going to be very secure. I'm not going to take the time to make sure it's in all of the slots. but it's an octagonal little volcano. And that's all it is. There's nothing trick about it. It is up off the ground so air can get under it. So it's going to have a draft from the underside. It's angled inward so the heat's going to go up, but you're going to feed this with little sticks, make your fire inside. And so it's not going to offer you any benefit other than there's holes in the bottom of it. So you're going to be getting air coming up through the bottom. It's up off the ground. It's going to hold your coals in, and it's going to center your heat up, so when you put your pot on top, the heat's going to be directed up. So again, it's made of titanium. It's super light. It's a nice little stove, but you're still making your fire with it. Those of you that always are going to carry water, these GI stoves aren't bad. What's nice about these, they fit on the bottom of the cup. And again, they have a little area on the bottom here. You make your fire under here, and you put your cup on top and heat it up. It carries your water, so you have your water with you. You can make coffee, make tea, heat up your water for whatever. You can use what the military use. They have the it skipped my mind. The trioxane bars that go in there, and 2 trioxane bars will easily heat water up like that. They're like solid sterno. You could put sterno there. You could put any kind of heat source in there and heat your water up. So these are kind of nice. I like this just because you're carrying your water with you, and it all kind of fits together nicely with your stove stand.
So Bill has some more comments for us.
What's that?
It says the Vargo stove is the only stove I've ever seen that would bring water to a rolling boil with a single Isbit stove.
The which one?
Isbit?
Isbit, yep. I have one. I did not bring it out.
I want to love Isbit, but it is overpriced and I just can't get it to boil reliably. Mm-hmm. Nice thing about the Isbit is that you always know how much fuel you have, and you don't end up carrying around a canister when you only need 2 to 3 meals.
Isbit has some good designs. They have a relatively interesting looking coffee maker, and I played around with that a little bit.
He's got hexamine with a question mark.
Hexamine is a fuel. I have not used it, so I can't really comment on that. I've used quite a bit. I use Isbit. I've used a lot of Triox. I've tried the trioxane bars that I use were the solid ones. They are the old ones that they used Vietnam era. I believe about 10 years ago they phased those out, and they have a liquid now. I tried it when it first came out. My experience was it did not work very well, and since then I haven't tried it again. Maybe they changed something, but I did not like the new type. So I just bought cases of the old trioxane, and I still have cases left, so I can't tell you that. This is actually one of my favorite for my bug out bag for when shit hits the fan. I mentioned about a regasification stove. This isn't the only one out there, but like I said, I like this for a couple reasons. One, the stove actually fits into this container. This container is, who makes it? Olite XTS. I'll say that again. Olite XTS. That's the pot. Reason I gave you that is because look on the bottom what they have there. It's the pot they made with that heat exchanger built into the bottom. So whatever stove you put this pot on, it's going to turn this into a super efficient pot because it's going to take all that heat, whatever stove you have, and put it right into the bottom of your pot. So if you're looking for a pot to carry, this is the pot you want. It's got that heat exchanger on the bottom. So inside here, is a extremely lightweight wood gasification stove. Now, the size, now this is called a Bush Buddy. And this is all it is. You just take this, flip it over on the inside, and you put your pot on there. You would feed your sticks in, right here. And the inside of it, I don't know, can you get a shot of that inside, Cheryl? You can see there's a grate in there, and it's double walled.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen when you have that fire in there, the smoke's going to come up, it's going to go into these holes here, it's going to recirculate down there and reburn itself. And it actually burns your wood down to fly ash, to a very fine ash. So like I said, a handful of sticks will usually cook your meal.
So Bill would like to know, whoops, hold that thought. How fireproof are the blue handles?
Yeah, pretty good. They work. I always have a bandana with me. I always carry a bandana in my belt. So whenever I grab something, I grab it with my bandana, so I don't rely on the blue handles. But I would say they're pretty good. I would say they're good. I wouldn't have them over a fire though. So,
He was just asking if the installation handles will hold up to an open flame for an extended period.
you would have to, if you do it like this, I think you're safe. If we had a fire like this, and this would be in the middle of the fire, they're going to melt. This is meant for a camp stove without a flame out here. You put flames out here, all bets are off. You put a flame under here, you're set, because all of your heat from this stove is going to the bottom of your pot, especially with this pot.
He wants to know if they'll melt.
If what? I've never had one melt. If you do put this over a fire, they're going to get sticky. They're going to get sticky. I would not put this over any kind of campfire with flames out here or hot coals out here, because you're going to get these gooey, melted, charred, black. Especially with this pot, because the reason you're getting this pot is for this heat exchanger. This is worth its weight in gold. This is worth its price just for that heat exchanger right now. Because remember, all the heat from this is going into the pot, so you're even going to use less wood on top of the gasification stove. So this, in my mind, is a pretty good setup.
Bull Moose Patrol says they've seen those handles melt with campfires.
Okay.
Flames.
Thank you for commenting. That's why I like you guys to comment in, because we all have a lot of information and we can all learn from each other. And stuff that I haven't tried or haven't experienced, I'm sure somebody out there has. You can make fires from scratch, and I have nothing against that. That's what we teach in our classes. But if you want a quick meal, you might want to carry some of these little gizmos. I found these to be absolutely awesome. They're called Landmann, Landmann fire starters. You can get them all over, but the best place to get them is survivalschool.com. We sell them on our website. I think you get 24 in a box. They store flat. You can store a whole bunch of them. I know there's some fire starters that are like blocks and stuff. These I like them because they store flat. You just touch a match to this paper here and they start. So starting these is not an issue. This, whatever this is in the center, starts, burns a long time, burns hot, will start small wood going. I like these. One of these, you throw it in there, put your twigs on there, this will start a fire. So you don't even need a whole one, you can use a half if you want. So I use this if I want a quick fire, or if the wood's damp at all, I don't have time. Carry these as kind of a lazy man's way. If I have all dry wood, I'll just start a fire normally with my normal tinder and all. These things, this little thing is called Hot Lips. They're overpriced. You get 2 for $9, but they're kind of worth it. What you do with them, when you have a metal cup like this, a titanium cup, an aluminum cup, what you do with them They clip on the rim of your cup like this. Sure you do. I use this one a lot. They actually really clip on easy. This is live TV stuff. There it goes. There it goes. And when you're drinking from your cup, if this was hot coffee, you don't burn your lips. Because I'm sure all of you who drank from a metal cup, you can't drink the hot coffee because it gets the cup hot. But these hot lips allow you to do that. So like I said, you can get them online. We don't sell these, but be expecting to pay about $9 for 2 of them. They last an awful long time. They're just made of silicone, but they make drinking your morning coffee a little easier. And I do throw them in my pot when I have a small cup like this. So that's all I really have on stoves. Real quick, we're about at our 45 minutes. Does anybody have any questions out there? I thank you for joining us. Next time, I believe it's going to be Thanksgiving, so we're going to skip the Thanksgiving week and go 1 week after Thanksgiving. So we're going to be not the second Thursday, but the third Thursday. And we're going to be going over 3 main natural remedies for boosting your immune system. We're going to be doing things, one of them is going to be, I believe, elderberry syrup. The other is going to be something called Master Tonic, or some of you might know it as fire cider. It boosts your immune system. And the third one is still up in the air yet. We're going to see which one we think is going to be the most. And with the flu season coming around and with this coronavirus, we thought that might be an appropriate topic. So that's what we're going to be planning. Please email us or put on Facebook what you'd like us to talk about. And
Thank Bill for his very kind words.
Phil?
Bill?
Bill?
Yes.
Bill, thank you very much for your kind words. Cheryl said that you gave us some kind words, and I know you took a class and you were just impressive on what you did. My memory serves me correctly, you were helping teaching some of the fire parts of that class. So, but if you're ever around again, we're going to be having a whole line of classes next year. I'm anticipating a full schedule, so I'd love to have you back as a guest instructor, Bill. We'd love to have you, and you can add quite a bit, so please keep that in mind. But thank you for joining us. We'll be back 3 Thursdays from now, and if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions, please let us know. Thank you. Be safe.